New blessings, new lessons, new money. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Raising Vibes at the Treehouse Podcast. Now today, we are unpacking the benefits of failure. We're going to learn why failure is really just success in disguise. We will fall in love with failure and view the ills of life as lessons and blessings going forward. Let's vibe. Now, as I discussed in our last episode, the fear of failure comes alongside the fear of death and the fear of public speaking. Now, you are not alone in this fear of failure, but with a few mental tweaks, you can begin to see failure as a blessing and a lesson, which in turn leads failure to be success in disguise. In today's episode, we're going to learn how to embrace adversity. We're going to analyze our failures and learn from them. We're also going to condition our minds to believe that it's not over until you win. Having a winning mindset is one that brushes out failure and keeps you striving for greatness. And I believe you listening can adapt this mindset through the power of the words that's spoken on this show. Now, with that being said, I'm your host, Lette Weaver, and I truly care about your mental well-being. We can all be positive lights in this world around us, and my goal with this episode is to open new doors of thoughts and truths that lead to transformation. I thank you for joining me, and before we move forward, I gotta ask you these important questions today. Have you failed at something to the point it made you give up? Have you struggled to take a chance because of the consequences of failure? Are you unsure of which path would lead to the most success? Yeah? Well, you, me, us? Let's talk. Michael Jordan, one of the most successful men and basketball players of all time, has a quote that'll give you goosebumps. Now, the greatest NBA player of all time has said this: "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." Now, the truth found in this quote should give everyone the confidence that they need to take the shot. Failure is nothing to fear. It is the necessary occurrence to get you to the greatest level of success. Look, you learn more from failure than you learn from winning. Champions around the world can testify that winning feels better after frequent failures. The victory tastes sweeter when you've had your face down in the mud on more than one occasion. There's always an opportunity to take more shots in this life, and I encourage everyone listening to accept this as truth and move in a way that accepts failures as a necessary occurrence to get to the other side of success. Now, we're told from a young age, or at least I was told from a young age, that failure is the opposite of success. So we navigate through life eliminating our possibilities of failure and being fearful of what might happen if we don't achieve what we set out to do. It's like we don't ask people out on dates because we're afraid of rejection. Like, we don't start that business that we've always dreamed of because we're scared it might not be successful. We don't go after the promotion that we want because we don't want the risk of being told no. Our prideful selves, ego, it don't like to admit that we fail, and understandably, we don't like the feeling that comes from not reaching our goals. The ones who are able to weather the storm, fight through the failure, and keep their goals in motion are the ones that make it. They may have endured an emotional roller coaster, but their story ends up being one of great redemption because failure is a necessary step to reach success. I think we can all agree that we waste so much of our time, our energy making decisions to try and avoid failure, but what if we flip the script and divert that energy into going after what we want instead without the fear hanging over our heads? That's a powerful question I ask you. One thing that I always say to myself when the fear of failure pops in my head is, Yeah, but what's the worst that can happen? We often feel that fear is this huge, immense beast that's impossible to come back from, but most of the time, it's really not. Most of the time, all that happens is that it affects our ego. It affects our confidence. But if going after what you want means you might achieve your goals, then I think it's a risk worth taking, don't you? Failure, it forces us to improve, adapt, find new solutions, and think outside the box. It teaches us what works, what doesn't work, what we're good at, what we're not good at. It also teaches us perseverance and patience, and all of the most successful people in the world have experienced failure in some shape or form. James Dyson. Y'all heard of him? Well, it took him over 5,000 attempts to create a vacuum cleaner, bro. 5,000. Now imagine if he'd given up after the first 100. He learned from every single failure. He applied his learnings to his next model, persisted, and eventually ended up with one of the biggest household brands in the world, the vacuum cleaner. I don't know what I'd do without one, because I refuse to be sweeping carpet. You got to be crazy. But that didn't happen by chance. It happened because he failed, quite literally thousands of times. And eventually, things all clicked into place and his hard work paid off. Success isn't something that happens overnight. It's something that requires time, work, and dedication. Failure is just a necessary part of that. Some of your biggest lessons in life will come from your mistakes, and it's important to remember that, especially if things aren't going your way. You need failure in order to grow, so rather than ignoring your failures, embrace them. Open your eyes and see what you can learn and apply in the future. These failures, they oftentimes open up new doors of opportunity too. Lessons and blessings. Failure isn't final. It just forces you to divert down a different path. And you never know. The final destination may just be significantly better than the one you initially had in mind. Analyzing why you failed can lead to a real transformation of your approach to success. It's been said, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. Let me repeat that. Discouragement and failure are two of the most surest stepping stones to success. Dale Carnegie said that. And I'd like to give you some practical tips and guidance that you can apply to your own walk towards success. 1. Embrace adversity. This is your chance to set yourself apart from the masses of people that don't want it as bad as you. So many people fail and give up, but if you embrace this adversity, you're already further ahead than the average bear. Use it to grow your mental muscles and become better in the process. 2. Analyze your failures. Ask yourself why you failed to achieve your goal. Was it a lack of effort or the wrong strategies? How can you do better next time? Reflect on your L's and figure out a better way to get to the W's. This process is required and is practiced by all successful people. 3. It's not over until you win. Keep chasing your dreams no matter how much failure and adversity you might encounter. Keep believing in your dream and adapt to feedback until you make it. Be fluid and flexible with the strategies you use, but not with the goals you pursue. Never give up on your dreams and you will land closer to them than you think. 4. Shift your perspective. Instead of telling yourself, but what if I fail? Ask yourself, but what if I succeed and get everything I want? Visualize success, speak positive words over your life, and be your most authentic self in this process. This is going to attract the right people that will elevate your chances of success and limit your future failures. I conclude this with, we are all human and react with emotion. We have the tendency to remain in our comfort zone, and this prevents us from striving for ultimate greatness. We fear failure and the judgment of others. We are hard on ourselves and limit ourselves on what we can do in this life, but you are built different and will have a Michael Jordan mentality about life and let the chips fall where they may. Look, I personally encourage you to apply the words that's been spoken on this podcast and dig deep within yourself and decide if you're willing to fail in order to succeed, because this is the only path to success. It's a long, bumpy road, and there comes a time in everyone's life when they have to either step out of their comfort zone and take a chance or be complacent with their lives. Well, on this show, I always push you to be better. Not only better in your own life, but in the lives of others. Be a light, bro. The darkness hates the light, and the good news is the light will attract more light. Good vibes bring out more good vibes, and as you might have heard, this is Raising Vibes at the Treehouse, and I hope you enjoyed vibing with me today. Take what you learn and use the truths that hit home to transform the way you think. Look, I'm super grateful you decided to join me today, and I hope you consider subscribing to the show and even sharing it with some friends who could use a positive message to start or finish their week. Inspire others with a quick share. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm going to catch a vibe with you next week.